What's up, rockers and metalheads? We are back with another album review. This time, Peter CRISS, and this is birthday today. Happy 80th birthday, Peter. But I don't know if you're gonna like this review or not. It's like Gene Simmons did Radioactive. Woo. Anyway, Peter CRISS got his solo album today. The only way you can get this album, it's not on any streaming. I remember when it was being promoted, the first song, there was a teaser for Creepy Crawlers, and then eventually the whole song came out. But even then, the only way you could find it was digitally was on Bandcamp. You could hear the song Creepy Crawlers. There was kind of a somewhat of a video on YouTube. But then now the album's out, and you still can't find it anywhere digitally unless you go on iTunes, not Apple. I have Apple Music. I forgot about iTunes. I didn't know iTunes was still around. But it's on Apple. It's on iTunes, not Apple, which I have. So, but I did check it out on iTunes, but you have to buy it on there too. So I don't know, unless you have an iTunes subscription. Like I have an Apple subscription, but I'm not going to pay another subscription for like iTunes for the same shit, but you still got to pay like $10 to buy the record. So I just went ahead and bought the CD. The vinyl itself is like, I think $27. So there's two different versions. There's like the black, they call it the black wallet, and this is the silver wallet. 10 tracks plus a bonus track, so there's 11 altogether. I don't know what the vinyl has. I kind of understand why he's putting it out on physical only. I think maybe the idea is to inspire people to buy physical music. And the reason why he doesn't have it on streaming as well. Maybe later on it's going to come out on streaming on all the different platforms like Spotify, iTunes, and stuff. But I think he's probably thinking old school, and people need to get back into buying vinyl and CDs, which people have been. I mean, vinyl is one of the biggest selling things, right? Formats of music. As a matter of fact, I think the streaming industry was saying that they're kind of like panicking a little bit because there are less subscribers than there are vinyl buyers or something like that, or like their subscriptions were lower, but the vinyl sales were up or something compared to last year. But they're also discovering that a lot of Gen Zers are buying vinyl, but they're not even like listening to the vinyl. They're just buying it just to collect it and hang it on their walls and stuff. So that's kind of like a big uptick in vinyl. It's like buying all these records and really not even listening to them. You're like, yeah, you got to put it on a record player, kids. It's the thing you drop the needle. Yeah. So I'm going to try to go through each one of these songs real briefly. I can't play any clips because, again, it's not no digital, so I can't give you like a little sample. But I can just try to describe what I hear, what I've heard so far. I've listened to it all the way through, and I gotta be objective here because I gotta be like, as if I love Peter CRISS. Don't get me wrong. I was never a fan of his solo stuff. Even the first solo record, I have it on CD. But to be honest, I've probably heard since I was like 10 years old when this came out. Was I 10? Yeah, I was 10 years old, 68, 78. I was born 68. Yeah, I probably heard this album maybe 3 times in its entirety. Maybe 3 times. The rest of the times I try to put it on and like it, and it could just never get through it. There's a couple good songs, and then I explored some of his other solo albums, like recently. Like I think there's the one with the half cat face. I think it's Cat Number 1 or something like that. And then there's one, I can't remember what the title is, but he's kind of like shirtless. Like he just came out of the shower. He's all looking all sexy, like young and sexy. But I would just skim through certain solo songs. I think there was one in the 90s where he had kind of a band and there was more kind of like that kind of grungy kind of metal type stuff. And just, I don't know, his music is just, to me, it never did nothing to me or for me or whatever. But that's not to say that he's not a great, persona of Kiss. And if you're a hardcore Peter CRISS Kiss fan and Peter CRISS fan, you're probably going to like this just for that. But I have to listen to it as music and try to make the best out of it that I can. Judge albums. I like to judge albums. Are they skippable or not skippable by each song, And yeah, so bear with me on this. So the first song, it starts off with, if you notice, like the silver, it's kind of like reminds you of Double Platinum. So yeah, you take a little bit of, okay. Let me before I get started on the songs, I just want to sort of touch base on. I kind of feel like the packaging let me down too. I was expecting like a booklet, but there's no booklet. The CD's on my deck right now. It's just a black CD. A very kind of boring album cover. You know, the logo's cool. That's about it. You know, got 10 original songs and plus one bonus track. But and apparently Peter Criss wrote all the music, wrote all the lyrics. So you know, but you know, we got John Five on it. We got Billy Sheehan. Some great work by those guys on it. That's the one thing, the one big plus I could talk about right now. But the first song, it starts off called Rockin' and Rock and Roll. That's song number one. I appreciate the old timey sound and the musicianship that goes into a song like this, but it's really just not my cup of tea for that kind of music. I mean, it's very boring. And this is the opening track. It's very boring. It just sounds like a song you'd hear like at a county fair, maybe even a farmer's market. I mean, Peter, if you want young kids to kind of get into your music and go buy vinyl and everything because you don't want them streaming, you want to buy. If you want to get the kids into this, try not writing music that sounds like their grandpas. You know, or I guess I would be I'm 57 years old, so I'd be as old enough to be this generation's grandpa. But my music was, you know, obviously the 80s metal and stuff like that. Like if this was like 1985 and this song came out, then I would, and if I was 60 years old in 85 or 84, then I'd be like, oh yeah, this is great. It just reminds me of my old times, the old music I used to love, and that's when music was great. So yeah, other than that, like I said, it's just a very boring song. But this is not a good song to open up your record with. That's just my opinion. So on that note, it is very skippable. Number two is In the Dark. Starts out with a kind of really cool bass and guitar riff. Kind of, you know, it's a very nice groove to it. But honestly, the music didn't. If it didn't have vocals, the whole song would kind of sound like stock music that you would, you know, download for free to put in your podcast as background music or whatever. Hey, that's a good idea. Maybe I should put it on here. No, but I'll probably get blocked or whatever. But anyway, it's just kind of boring. You know, I got fooled by the title because with the title In the Dark sounds like it's going to be like really cool, but the lyrics are kind of cheesy on it. It's like, I want us to be alone and make love all night long or something like that. Billy Sheehan does come in the middle of the song and he saves it with this really cool bass solo or whatever. It's basically like a bass solo. And then John Five's great guitar work on it. Is this skippable? Yeah, it's definitely. It's just a snooze. For the money, number three. Aside from a great guitar work from John Five, this song is another snoozer. It's upbeat, but it's probably like thrash if you're like an 80-year-old. It'd be like, oh my god, that's fast, but really it's not. It's to me, it's just very skippable. I mean, the only thing exciting about this song is the gunshots in the beginning. Like, I guess it's supposed to be like a gangster type song or whatever. The guitar solo is really cool from John Five. This song is very skippable. We're moving along here. Track number 4, Murder. Now, this song sounds good. Now, this is okay. Now we're getting to a good part of the album. When I heard this, the title is good. You know, the music fits the title, not like the other one, In the Dark. It kind of starts with a verse that sounds very similar to All Along the Watchtower. And the thing about Peter's voice, it sounds like Peter. I hear people saying that don't sound like Peter singing. That's someone else. It's like, no, it does. It's just he's obviously older. He's 80 years old today. But I think it sounds cool. I mean, I like it. His voice is actually really good in some areas, but his singing in some areas, like even the songs that I don't like that much, it's just kind of lazy and uninspired. Like the verses are just kind of like, here we go. Just that fits just because it fits or whatever. This song is in A minor, it goes to C to F to G, D minor. I was figuring it out earlier on guitar. It's like, I like that chord progression. Yeah, this would have been a good opener. This should have been the opener. Is this song skippable? Not skippable. Walking on Water. This song has a very nice feel to it rhythmically, and it's got a very cool bass and drums that are carrying the overall rhythm of it until Peter's vocal comes in. He's singing with like a low tone, which, you know, sounds cool, but it doesn't fit this song. It's just kind of very unadventurous melody. So it's definitely a different singing style for Peter, but it just sounds uninspired. I want to like it. Trust me, I want to like this song, but it does have a nice ending with John Five playing some kind of guitar sets, Joe Satriani style guitar sound. That's about it. Though this song is just okay for me, I'm going to say it's not skippable because I think this song is kind of a grower. I think if I hear it again, I'll probably like it more. Number 6, Creepy Crawler. Now, this was the actual single that came out. And everyone was, oh my God, new Peter Criss. We got to, I'll check out my coffee mug. You can barely see it's washed away. Pet Cats, Hail Satan. And I got a Kiss shirt on. Can't really see Peter in there, but he's in there. Then my cat, she was listening to the album too. I think she kind of feels about the same as me with it. So number 6, Creepy Crawler. I actually liked this song when I first heard it. Like I was hearing even just a sample. I was like, oh, that sounds like a cool. I love Billy Sheehan's bass line, the do 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 do. It's kind of chromatic goes down or whatever. It's a lot better of a song than a lot of people said it was because I remember when it came out, everyone was like, oh my God, it doesn't even sound like Peter. It's not even him singing. No, he's singing everything. He's singing everything. He sings all the backing vocals, it says back here. I wish there was a booklet, man. And he wrote all the music and the lyrics. But then again, Ozzy said he wrote all the music and the lyrics on Bark at the Moon too. So I don't know. But I don't know if anybody's twisting John 5's arm and Billy Sheehan's arm to say, you better say that Peter wrote all the music, otherwise gun to your head. Musically, this song fits the title, just like unlike In the Dark, which is, like I said, snoozer of a song. But there's really not a whole lot about to say about the song because there's nothing like, crazy about it. It's just a really good groovy song, a lot of kind of dark sound. It definitely fits the title, like I said, and cool bass line. So I would have to say this song is not skippable. So too far, I think we have 3 songs that aren't skippable. First 3 are skippable, and that's not good. You don't want your first 3 tracks of your album to be something that someone would want to skip. And don't let my opinion affect your judgment. I'm just here to kind of tell you how I feel about it and how it affects me. Just because I don't like it doesn't mean it's a bad album, because you might listen to it and think, wow, this is amazing. You got to just kind of not be biased about it. You can't be like, I'm only going to like it because it's Peter Criss or because it's associated with Kiss. You have to like kind of listen to it and is this a record you would put on or go to and just jam on a regular basis if this wasn't Peter Criss? To me, I wouldn't either with Peter Criss or not Peter Criss. So far, it's not an album I would probably jam on my own. 7th song is called Justice. It's just 30 seconds into the song and I was already wanting to skip it. Some of John's playing here sounds like Ace Frehley kind of, which I heard some of the vibrato in one of the leads. I was like, wow, that sounds like Ace Frehley. Good, but that part's good. But other than that, this song is boring and very skippable. Cheaper to keep her. Cheaper to keep her. Now this is like some old school, like, yeah, my wife, she's cheaper to keep her. I wonder what the woke generation, they hear this, they're gonna be like, that's chauvinist. That's male Peter Criss is a male chauvinist. It's a rocking song though. It's like, if you're an old fart, and I'm like 57. And so imagine a 57-year-old saying that this is music for an old fart, which means you'd have to be like 87 to 90 to think that this is, I'm going to get into this because, it's really upbeat. Is it really cheaper to keep her? I mean, is that saying that like if she splits up with you or you split up with her, that she's going to take all your money? But if you keep her, then you could just like take her out to like fast food restaurants, like cheap restaurants, and don't have to buy her anything expensive. You just keep her at home. Is that what Peter's saying here? Come on, Peter, please don't be saying that kind of stuff about women. I'm just trying to add fuel to the fire of the world out there. Cheaper to keep her. It's very uninspired. Another song that's just kind of uninspired. It's kind of boring. And of course, I'm going to say skippable. Sugar. I was thinking, okay, this title, Sugar. Let me see. Let me guess what it's about. No. Very old timey lounge kind of grown up music. Just sounds like something you'd hear playing at either a wedding or like a late night lounge in New York. Late at night. With the detective smoking his pipe and I mean, hey babe, it's fancy seeing you here. Things like that kind of. Peter Criss is all into that. He's into Cagney or whatever, James Cagney or whatever the actor is from the 30s or 40s. He always likes those old gangster films. So you can tell like a lot of his lyrics are kind of based on the old gangster film type stuff. But yeah, it's a good song if you like this kind of music. I can appreciate what goes into it. I can appreciate that this is what inspires Peter Criss. This is his influence. And That's really cool. It's just not my cup of tea. So for me, it's skippable. It's very skippable. Skippable. Rubbernecking. Now, this is another kind of old school term that probably people used back in the 40s and the 50s. I'm going to go do some rubbernecking. I gotta Google that word. What's next? Malarkey? Is he going to write a song called Malarkey? No. Actually, really cool drum intro on this song. It starts out with almost like the drum sounds, the drum beat that he's doing kind of sounds like, and I imagine Peter Criss is playing all the drums on here. There's no trick AI or nothing like that. You know, I saw a recent thing where he was playing drums. He still has the chops. So, but the beginning sounds kind of like from one of the Kiss Alive albums, either Kiss Alive 2 or Alive. You know, his drum solo in that, the live drum solo. It kind of has that type of sound. So it's really cool. It's just it goes into like a blues swing. Then the song just breaks into like blues swing with a shuffle, you know, kind of shuffle rhythm. Very Freddie King, sort of. I want to say maybe ZZ Top. I could hear something like old style ZZ Top, Freddie King, ZZ Top. So it's again just another old timey jam. Again, not my cup of tea. Although I can appreciate, you know, the throwback and all that on it, and how Peter Criss is all influenced by it. Now we're gonna get to the bonus track. So that was 10 songs. Now we're gonna get into the bonus track. It's rocking, man. But it sounds like all the other songs that are supposed to be rocking. It's just too old for me, man. Just too old sounding. Again, I'm probably never gonna put this album on again. Like maybe if I do make it to my 70s, maybe I will put it on. Maybe that'll be like, I'll break it. I'll be all, yeah, remember this came out in 2025. Wow, you know, it sounds like music that my grandmother listened to when I was 57 or when I was 15. This was the kind of music that my grandmother was listening to at 55 or 57. And I'll be like 7 years old. Like, okay, let me put it on. See what. And I'm just gonna, because you know, like I said, it all depends on what area you grew up in musically. Is this, and obviously Peter Criss, you can't knock the guy for it. He's gonna put out a record that he likes and that he loves, but he's got to understand that there's going to be some good critique and some probably bad critique. I can only be honest about it, and I think good criticism and bad criticism is good as long as the person is being honest about it. Like, I don't like when people say, "Oh, I heard it was bad, so I'm gonna say it's bad." Right? Hey, I heard it was good. You know, well then listen and see if it is. Because what if you hear it's good and all of a sudden you listen to it and you don't like it? You know, just because I'm telling you that I don't really care for it, except for 3 songs, that it's actually out of 11 songs, 3 of them are not skippable. So what is that math wise? 8 songs that are skippable. So this is a 3 out of 11 album. Like if you were to rate it, how many horns would you give it, Eric? Maybe 2 horns. Almost 1 horn. No, but I'd say 2 horns. Definitely not 4. 2 horns up. You know, I do have to. Okay, I'll give you 3 horns up because it's because it's Peter Criss, and because it's associated with Kiss. But other than that, but get out there and get it. Support Peter Criss. Again, he's 80 years old. Happy birthday, brother. You don't call me brother if you're gonna dog on my record. You know you're not watching this, Peter, right? No, maybe he is. I think he's a fan of my channel and my page. I'm sure like he wakes up and I'm gonna go check out what Eric's doing on YouTube with his almost 1,800 followers on TikTok, or almost 1,900 followers on TikTok, and I think 4,500 something subscribers on YouTube. That being said, if you're watching this on TikTok, please hit that follow button. And if you are watching this on YouTube, please hit the subscribe, like, or don't like. You know, I'm cool as long as, again, whether you like what I do or not, as long as you're honest about it, I'm all good. You know, I do this for the love of music and for my own sanity, my own sobriety, because I'm, 14 years sober in 3 days. I'll be 14 years sober from alcohol and meth and all that bullshit. Mostly alcohol. Meth was just the side piece, the hoe, Anyway, on that note, I want to say horns up.